AIADMK fold. These are loyalists of Sasikala Natarajan having been appointed there as the Deputy General Secretary. Sasikala herself having been sentenced by the Supreme Court to 4 years in prison in the DA case, the disproportionate assets case for corruption, to surrender with immediate effect there. This is one last final visit before she goes into prison that she's paying there at the Jaya Memorial, taking vows and taking blessings from her mentor there as we speak, and she's on her way there to surrender at the Bengaluru and the Bengaluru Central Jail. Our correspondent Lokpriya has been getting us further inputs here on what happens next within the AIADMK. Lokpriya, once again, the floor test not being called in by the governor, despite Sasikala's camp having maintained the numbers, the majority much above the halfway mark for the past fortnight. O. Paneerselvam is still struggling. He has 11 MLAs, but as was expected that several MLAs would jump ship after the verdict of Sasikala going to jail, that has not happened.
Well, definitely not. Paneerselvam at this point in time still is on a tricky wicket because he has only 11 MLAs with him. This is nowhere close to the halfway mark. He does not have the magic numbers. But the confidence for Paneerselvam stems from the fact that in eventuality of a floor test, there is going to be MLAs supporting him. That is the reason why repeatedly he has requested the governor to have a floor test and not parade the MLAs before them. As far as Sasikala's camp is concerned, it is going to be a big challenge for the camp to keep these MLAs together, to keep the flock together, unless and until the governor comes out with a statement or a solution to end this impasse. On their side, the MLAs at the Golden Bay Resort are coming out in regular intervals today, speaking to the media, reiterating the fact that they are not tortured at the resort. They are there at their own free will, and they will wait till the governor calls them to form the government. So clearly, the governor holds the key for ending this impasse. All eyes are now on him because the MLAs at the resort are in no mood to relent. They are not going to go away from there unless the governor comes with some kind of direction.
Right.
Only after that there will be the news of the MLAs leaving the resort.
Please stay with us. Also getting in our correspondent Abhimanyu Sharma. We're outside the Supreme Court in that decision that was taken in turning down that plea of giving Sasikala 4 weeks time there before to surrender. Abhimanyu, what exactly has the court observed in refusing to entertain that petition?
Well, indeed, it is a setback for Sasikala as far as her petition is concerned. Of course, it was not even admitted before the Supreme Court when it was mentioned before the bench by her lawyer, senior advocate KTS Tulsi. When he was listing the reasons of filing the petition, he had stated that whenever a trial court or a high court order is set aside, a convict gets time to surrender, to which the bench clearly replied that already the judgment has been delivered and no further orders would be issued in this regard. Also, it was clarified by the bench and categorically stated that immediately meant immediately, and that is something which was specified categorically in the judgment by the apex court. So clearly the road ahead seems to be bumpy for Sasikala as far as her petition is concerned, since her petition seeking a reprieve to surrender and seeking some time has been categorically rejected by the Supreme Court.
Absolutely, and that is exactly what is happening. She's going ahead, surrendering there with immediate effect. Of course, should have happened last evening itself, but she is on her way to surrender as we speak. In more reactions here that have come in.
Sasikala has got some good qualities. She's a strong Hindu that I'm impressed with. She has shown this last 1 week that she is capable of managing the party, and all the MLAs are still with her. Paneerselvam, being chief minister, has got nothing, and despite 2 ministers from the center helping him, he's got nothing. So therefore, I think she would, on the long run, she won't, she has other options which will develop after some time has passed. This is really not a crime of, say, murder or something. It's corruption. It's a serious matter. It's against the nation. But at the same time, people who are corrupt can also be reformed. And so the courts are always looking for that. And and so who are corrupt can also be reformed. And so the courts are always looking for that. And so consequently, these are things which the legal advisors of Sasikala have to think of.
The crisis created, which is in Tamil Nadu, can be resolved only through a floor test. And the earliest decision to convene the assembly is the best decision. And the governor should go for that. He need not wait for the order from Delhi. Governor as a constitutional head, he can take a decision. He should have taken, and now at least immediately to convene the assembly and do the floor test. That is the final answer to the crisis.
Our correspondent Lokpriya with further updates. Lokpriya, once again, questions being asked on why the governor is delaying here in calling in the floor test. It has been shown well beyond time of the past fortnight. Sasikala's camp has managed to retain those numbers much beyond the halfway mark.
Well, definitely, yes. At this point in time, Sasikala's faction does appear confident because they have those number. 124 is the number that Edapadi Palanisamy submitted to the governor, that he has the support of 124 MLAs. This is higher than the halfway mark that is required at 117. So Sasikala camps remain confident, but if there is going to be a delay in the governor's decision, it is going to be increasingly difficult for Sasikala's camp to keep the flock together. Meanwhile, a case has been registered in Kuvatur police station on a complaint filed by Saravanan, who is an MLA from Madurai, who had escaped from the resort on Monday night and had joined Paneerselvam's camp. Based on his complaint, FIR has been registered saying that Sasikala and Edapadi Palanisamy tried to kidnap him.
Please stay on with us. There have been multiple political reactions, of course, speculating on what's to happen next, what should have happened ideally. Here's a listen in.
Whatever they have mentioned, these things also, Sasikala must have told, yes, I only did it. There's no role by Jayalalitha. Because as she told about all the other things, that she was responsible for everything. And this also, this scam, that what she should say is, I only responsible. I only did everything. But she has not told it, but the court has made it very specific. So I am happy the culprit, they have been booked.
The court, I don't think the court has set any time limit. So she has to surrender at the earliest. Judgment has come yesterday. According to me, she should surrender today so that the judgment is complied with.
The preparations here at Pratnagrara is definitely on. If I can ask my camera person to pan the camera and show, there are two platoons of police deployment here, even as the media is trickling in. In fact, there is restricted movement around Pratnagrara where we are standing right now. The media is being allowed. The general public is not being allowed. IDs are being checked and the policemen deployed across the road here. This is the central prison Pratnagrara where Sasikala will be brought in. It might be around noon. In fact, when NewsX checked with police sources and the court sources, they say that she has to surrender in front of the trial court. In fact, this is the place where the trial court had been set up in 2015 when Jayalalitha case was heard. 100 yards from this is a police station, police outpost. Next to it, there is a building which was converted into a special court.
Lokpriya getting us further inputs here. Lokpriya, as far as O Paneerselvam's camp there goes, on what's giving them renewed confidence, in fact having maintained that confidence all along that they would manage to sail through in that flow test. What has added to the table in bringing Jayalalitha's niece Deepa on board?
Well, that's correct. This gives them more strength. The fact that it will give them the claim of trying to inherit the legacy of Jayalalitha. Deepa has been dilly-dallying on her entry into politics, where she kept saying that she will announce the big decision on the 24th of February, which is the birth anniversary of Jayalalitha. But last night we saw Deepa and Paneerselvam joining hands at Jayalalitha's memorial. It was all a very symbolic gesture. So this actively means that Deepa will be supporting Paneerselvam. Now what role is she going to play in that camp? Is she going to have a larger role? Is she going to contest elections? All this are something that we'll have to wait and watch. But insiders at OPS camp says that Deepa joining Paneerselvam's camp will add more strength to Paneerselvam's camp, give them the image that they are the true leaders who will inherit Jayalalitha's legacy.
Lokpriya, are you getting in other reactions from this latest decision that was made by Sasikala in inducting those back in the AIADMK fold in very senior position, those names that were shunned by Jayalalitha? Has this been seen as essentially being disrespectful to her mentor? She's brought in her own confidant set of people that she trusts, who Jayalalitha was against, that being her own nephew, Dinakaran, now the Deputy General Secretary just appointed there in the party, as well as S. Venkatesh.
Well, definitely, yes. Many in the AIADMK are perplexed with this decision of Sasikala because Jayalalitha had clearly pointed out that the cadre should not have any truck with Sasikala's husband Natarajan and her extended family. In fact, in 2012, when Sasikala was taken back into the party fold after she apologized for her actions, Jayalalitha did not extend that invitation to the